Good evening, Drew.
Oh man, the hits just keep on coming.
Okay.
It's been a day, buddy. It's been a
Uh,
day.
yeah, yeah. How you doing?
Uh I've been better, man. I've been
Okay.
better. So hmm, I have had a series of unfortunate events unfold at the house here.
Oh no.
Yeah. So last week it was I think the day after we recorded the podcast last week, I noticed that when I went to bed, the air conditioner was running, which is not uncommon. And I haven't been sleeping well, so I got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and I realized the air conditioner was still running. Got up
Okay.
the next morning, air conditioner was running. And like I went over to my thermostat, and it read 75, which was pretty high. And I sort of like put my hand over the register, and the air felt cool, but it didn't feel cold. And I looked outside my window, and I realized the compressor in my AC unit wasn't running. So I had to call someone out, and one service call later. Thank God they were able to come the same day because it was just really, really hot out that day. It was a bad capacitor in the AC unit. And apparently, it's a 2014 unit, so it's not super old, but
No, not at
you
all.
know, yeah, $300 later, and then that got resolved. And then today, um, you know, uh, with my wife getting home from school and walking the dog and everything, I was downstairs. I actually had a late work phone call. My wife came downstairs and told me that there was an error code on the garage door opener because, like, a garage door opener, the opener on the wall has like this little LED display, and it said that it wasn't able to close the garage door because of some motor issue. So I went out and like fiddled with it a little bit and kind of poked and prodded at it the best I could without, killing myself or getting hit with a spring or anything like that. And I have no idea what's going on. So my garage door is just kind of down. It's
Okay.
down. It's
Yeah.
closed. But our cars are outside because the garage door opener isn't working. So I got to have someone come out and take a look at that tomorrow. So it's just, one thing after another.
Like, are you afraid that like the previous owners were like this house is circling the drain? Let's get out now and sell it to some sucker.
I don't think so. I mean, I think it is weird that both of those things went like almost back to
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
right?
That's
It's just
suspicious.
that's just my luck, I think. I think that's just how my life works. And just coupled with a pretty rough day at work, if I'm being honest. Uh just not a good day. Some days are good, some days are not good. Today was one of the not good days. And I'm glad that it's over and tomorrow's Friday. And yeah, that'll be that. I'm just
Yep.
the garage door guy is supposed to come tomorrow, so we'll see. I'm hoping it's something he can repair. Um, but if it isn't, then that's going to be another expense that I don't really want. But hey, I got to have a garage door opener.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit of follow up to sort of start the show today. So, I I am proud to say that we actually had a listener who tuned into this show and took our advice.
Uh-oh. Which device is it? What did they
Uh,
buy?
it was in relation to the security camera discussion because
Oh, okay.
because I was talking to somebody sort of offline about security camera stuff, and I'm like, it was literally like the day after I did that whole in-depth review of the system, and I'm like, you know what? Go listen to my podcast and hear what I have to say. And he didn't appreciate our cold open, but I don't give a shit. So he doesn't like the
Oh,
cold open. He's like, you guys just go for it. And I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
we got stuff to talk about. We
We
don't
got
have to
we just
gussy it
go
up.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just got to go. But
Why should we like introduce the podcast or like play music for you? No, this
yeah,
podcast is for us, not
yeah,
for
this
you.
podcast isn't for you, right? That's what I told him. That's almost exactly what I told him. But friend of the show, Mike, listened and he appreciated everything we said, and he bought a recommendation. So I would like to get a cut of that. We won't,
You
but
won't.
I
Yeah.
won't. But I just thought that was interesting. In the 111 episodes that we've been doing this, I think that's the first time anybody has actually taken our advice.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. No, but it was good. It was good. I'm gonna move things around here because I talked too much on the podcast. That was the other bit of feedback. So I'm gonna.
He listens to one podcast and now he's the expert.
Yeah.
I suggest he should submit a strongly worded Apple Podcast review that we'll ignore.
Yes. Submit reviews, folks. To any way we validate ourselves. Okay, so you have two topics on here before we get into my pile of plastic shame on my desk. So let's get through your stuff.
So I can't remember what episode. I don't know. I would scroll down, but I'm too lazy. A few episodes ago, I talked about installing the iOS 15 betas because I'm a big beta boy. I think the episode was called "I'm sure there'll be big beta boys." And so I like the betas. It was really good, except for one thing. Safari was really, really, really bad. They tried to do this weird floating bottom toolbar thing, and it just did not work. Well, with the most recent beta, which I think is the developer beta 6 and the public beta 5, they mostly fixed it. They fixed it. They fixed it by there's now two modes. The default mode is there's a toolbar and the address bar on the bottom. So basically what you're used to at the top is now at the bottom, which I think is good. It has some additional little other features, like if you have multiple tabs, it kind of does this little thing where you can kind of see the other tab kind of peeking in the toolbar, and you can like swipe on the toolbar to switch tabs, which is nice. But if you don't like that at all, you can go into settings and flip a button and put it back the way it is in iOS 14. So I think Apple fixed it by giving up. I still have one complaint. I think in both toolbar modes, top or bottom, they try to do this thing where like they grab the color of the website and make the toolbar that color. And I think it's a little too aggressive at times. Like there are times where you really can't see the tool, like it picks poorly and it's too dark of a color and it's kind of hard to see. But you know, it's much better. I think if you're curious about iOS 15, and we're kind of holding off in the betas because you were afraid of the awful Safari changes, well, now's a good time to jump on board. It's good. It's good. I like it.
So okay, so you're okay with it now, because before you were very much against it.
Yeah, like they basically backpedaled and got rid of the whole floating toolbar thing just didn't work. They tried to cram like all the buttons for like new tab and share and refresh. They tried to cram in the address bar, and it was like context sensitive, so you had to like click on the address bar or click and hold to get different buttons. They just threw that all out the window. There's a toolbar at the bottom with your back, forward, share, tab controls. There's an address bar on the bottom with like a refresh button. You can click on it and type stuff. Like it doesn't try to float or like jump to the top of the screen when you click on it. It always stays at the bottom. Yeah, I think is it what they demoed at, the last, when they were showing off iOS 15 and all the new features? Is it what they demoed? No, not at all. They took a big step back, but it's better. It actually works now. I think it's, having the address bar at the bottom. I mean, it's not a new idea. Other browsers have done that before, but it's very thumb friendly to have it down at the bottom instead of the top. It's good. Good. They fixed it. I no longer have to fear the day when my friends and family update to iOS 15 and then shake their phones at me and go, "What the hell is this? What did you do to my phone?" I no longer have to have that conversation.
Okay. Now, have they said when this is going to launch? It's usually October, right?
Yeah, it's usually like right before like the new iPhones come out, which they haven't announced yet, but that usually comes in September. So Yeah, end of September, October. Yep. Oh, but
Okay.
yeah, it's good. I mean, the beta is extremely stable at this point. I don't have any problems with any of my apps working. It's good. So if you're curious about some of the new features, what the features I oh, you know what? Quick tangent. I've been rocking the AirTags lifestyle and iOS 15 betas, and I got my first. I was actually at the office, had my backpack, took my backpack with me, and then I left to go to lunch, and I left my backpack at the office because I was going to go back. My phone was like, "Hey, Paul, you left your backpack at work. Did you mean to do that?" And I thought that was just kind of cool. Like, yeah, because iOS 15 with AirTags, you can by default it doesn't alert you if you leave your items at home. But if you're outside of the home and you leave a device with an AirTag and it like becomes apart from you, your phone will give you a little tap and say, "Hey, did you mean to do that?" In that case, I did, but I thought it was just a neat little feature. Yeah, it's cool. Can I tell you how much I hate Nintendo?
I would love to hear it. What happened?
So listeners of the show know that I recently bought a second Switch. I bought a Switch Lite, and I've been dealing with the whole primary versus secondary Switch, and the secondary Switch needing to have access to the internet to play anything, and I don't want to have to deal with it. And, it's a Switch Lite. I want to take it places. So I kind of made the concession to start buying physical cartridges because I don't have to worry about that at all. But here's where Nintendo got one final FU to me. So I decided recently that I wanted to play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild again. One of my secret shames is that I've actually never beat that game. I watched my son beat it, but I figured, you know what, I'm gonna break it out. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna beat the shit out of it. So I bought a physical cartridge and technically a second one, but booted that bad boy up and everything was fine. Now, Legend of Zelda has some downloadable content with some additional missions and some new features. And I was like, you know what? I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm like, I should have downloaded the DLC and give that a try because I never played with it. And one of the coolest features is like it shows you on the map where you've been, so you can know where you haven't been. And with a game that's so big on exploring, but the downloadable content was tied to my Nintendo account. Yeah. Yeah. So then I was in the same problem I was before, where it would not let me play Zelda with the cartridge unless I had an internet connection at all times.
Why are they so bad at it?
You know what I did? When I did, Drew.
Okay,
you know what I did?
All right.
You know what I did? I made a second user account on my Switch.
Oh no!
I created a new Nintendo ID associated with that new account, and I repurchased the goddamn DLC. So now that secondary account on my Switch, the Switch Lite is the only Switch that account knows about. So it is always primary, and I can do whatever the hell I want with it. But now I have two users account because, my first user account has my Animal Crossing island on it, and there's no way of transferring any of that nonsense. So you can't move save states between users, which is fine, I guess. But
they don't make it easy.
They don't make it. It's so bad. It's just Nintendo has like such cute hardware and such great like intellectual property in games, but like
the games are really fun.
But the whole like supporting infrastructure, they just like it's like they wouldn't even bother doing it if like everybody else didn't do it. It's like, well, I guess Microsoft and Sony have online services, so I guess we have to have one too. And I don't know. It's like they just
Well, like and not only that, but it extends beyond the on hardware experience. Like, if you actually go out and try to log into your Nintendo account, you basically have, I think it's 3 discrete sites you sort of have to visit to find your account information.
yes. I recently just went down this rabbit hole to see if it was even possible for me to like. Can I switch the Nintendo account a local account is associated with? You can't.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to like cancel my recurring Nintendo subscription because I had that for a while and I just hadn't touched my Switch in months, and I'm like, I'm just not going to keep paying for this. But it's ironic because now that I sort of have my office put back together, I actually have my Switch plugged into my monitor, and I fired it up the other day because like I could just like sit at my desk and play Switch now, so it's pretty neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I don't know. I really want to get the new Mario Golf, but I haven't yet because I'm busy spending money on other things right now.
Yeah, you got plumbing issues and air conditioners and garage doors.
Yep.
All kinds of fun stuff.
Hopefully we'll be done with all of this soon. We can all laugh about it after it all blows over. Okay, so did you manage to get your DLC for Zelda then? Because
I did.
I wasn't entirely clear.
Yes, I did. Using the second account with a brand new Nintendo ID, repurchasing the DLC for that second account, everything works great.
So it cost you another what, $30?
I think so, yeah.
That's the other thing about Nintendo too. You notice their games are never discounted?
Never. Like
PlayStation,
even the old games, like they're pretty expensive compared to what they should be. Yeah.
Yeah, actually it's funny because Video Game Donkey, or just Donkey, recently did a video about this very thing. Donkey's one of my favorite people to follow on YouTube. Let me find the video. He actually did a thing about video game pricing, and it's extremely funny. I'm gonna drop the link in show notes, and I recommend that you check it out and he hits on this thing pretty much spot on because he basically says like Nintendo games never go on sale. They stay $60 forever.
Mm-hmm.
And
they do.
like some of the games you play on the PS5 or PS6 or whatever we're up to PS wise, like you buy them and they're $60 new, but after a month or two they'll be on sale for $49.99.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or cheaper.
Yeah, and then after a year, then it's the normal price usually drops to like $30 or so, and then you can even find them cheaper if you watch the deal sites and stuff. They go on sale all the time. Yeah.
But not Nintendo.
No, not Nintendo. They're like
okay, so hold on. Let's do a little experiment, right? So Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Let's see here. Oh, okay, hold on. Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch on Amazon is going for $49.99. But
is that the physical? Because certain stores will sell the physical, like if they've had the physical media for a while, they will sell that for cheaper. But like the digital on Nintendo is usually full price.
This looks like a physical copy. Yes, Nintendo Switch. Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, but let's check something a little more rational, right? Because Amazon sort of just says fuck everybody. Let's actually look at Target. I feel like Target's a pretty good Zelda and Switch games. Yeah, it's $49.99. So I sort of stand corrected there. But Link's Awakening, which came out over a year ago, or close to a year ago, I think, that's still $60.
I want to see how much they sell it for digitally on the store. Hold on. Will it tell me? Buy digital. It won't. Well, okay. So it won't. Oh, here. Okay. Uh, it appears to be the only way to buy it digitally is from Nintendo. They only have a game and DLC bundle, and that sucker's $80.
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually. Now that you mention that, like the digital Switch code or digital Switch code on Amazon is not available.
Yeah.
Wow, they lock it down.
Yeah. So if you want to buy a digital copy from Nintendo, you're paying full price.
Wow.
I wonder if like Mario Odyssey is the same way.
Yeah, paper. Oh yeah, Mario Odyssey would be another good one, right? Oh yeah, like Mario and Rabbids Battle, like that came out at its launch title, $60. Mario Odyssey Switch. It is $38. Digital is unavailable on Amazon.
Explore. Why can't I? God, their website is so bad.
It's really bad. Like I feel like people in Japan and Korea use the internet differently than we do. I feel like that's the root of this. I'm not. That's incredibly racist, but it's like it feels like they don't use the internet the way you and I use the internet.
Yeah.
And I feel like they probably look at us like we're the crazy ones, which is why
$60 on digital.
Which is why I'm dying to get this Xbox to you. I'm sorry I haven't been able to do it, but I'm dying to get this Xbox to you so you can see Game Pass on there. It's so good. Like it's so good, Paul.
Here, I'm going to call it right now. It's August 19th, 2021. You're going to give me your old Xbox, and I'm going to give myself 3 weeks before I cave and order a Series X off at eBay.
Yeah. Maybe if I'm free tomorrow, I'll run it down to you and put it on your porch.
Oh.
I have to go to the dentist in the morning. But I will get it to you. And and speaking of, man, Ascenders is on Xbox Game Pass. It's really good.
Yeah, I want to play it.
It is so good. It's so good. It's better than it has any right to be. The combat and the dismemberment and explosions and the things that happen are just really good. Some of it's pretty fiddly. Like it gets some criticism and deservedly so, but it's really good, man. You're gonna love it.
The expansion, the director's cut, and the big DLC for Ghost of Tsushima comes out tomorrow too. So
ooh,
I'm excited for that. Not that I'm gonna get to play it this weekend. I have maybe on Saturday, just not tomorrow. I have a very busy day tomorrow.
Work stuff or
no? Fun fact: my son is in marching band, and tomorrow is their first football game.
Ooh.
So we're gonna
hold
down.
The presses. Train Sim World 2 available on Xbox Game Pass for PC. Sorry, I was busy. I was busy clicking install there a minute. Okay, so Zach's in band. Sorry.
Yeah, we're having the Chillicothe tomorrow to see a football game. Woo!
Wow. Well, the weather should be nice, right?
Yeah, I hope so. So far, looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, actually, I think the forecast completely changed. Huh. Crazy. It was supposed to rain all weekend, but it looks like it's not now.
Yeah.
And I got to cut the grass again because that's my life now.
And you have a lot of grass to cut.
I do have a lot of grass to cut. It's obnoxious. Okay, so Nintendo still sucks.
All the time.
All right. All right. Tee us up for this next one, buddy. What do you want to know? Just hit me.
So, where do I start? So, when Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, and they came out like 6 months ago or so?
It was back in February or January. I can't remember.
Okay, so 6 to 8 months. Last year.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Time is meaningless.
Yeah,
came out. You purchased it, and you were playing it, and you had acquired not a small amount, but not a huge amount of equipment to play the game. So you got like a flight stick, and you got some rudders and a throttle, if I remember correctly. And you were talking about getting some more things. I believe
we dove into this a little bit on one of the podcasts when it first launched. So what I ended up buying is I bought a flight yoke system that is like, for those of you that are not in the scene, as it were, is basically a steering wheel for an airplane.
Yep.
And it has little gadgets and little buttons on it. And then I have a throttle quadrant, which has 3 levers. Usually it is throttle, prop speed, and fuel mixture. And then I have rudder pedals, which that at a minimum is sort of what you need to properly fly the aircraft in Flight Simulator. You could use a flight stick if you wanted to, but these aircraft are not nimble fighter jets. They are commercial or personal aircraft, so you fly them with the equipment that they have, and it makes it pretty fun. It makes it, with those 3 pieces of equipment, you can taxi, you can take off, you can land, and you can sort of fly around. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And then during the last episode, you sent me a picture of your current setup, and
I added something.
You added something.
Yeah. All right. So what? Okay. So let me explain myself. So I hadn't played Flight Simulator in quite some time, and part of the reason is at the old house I had put the stuff away, and I just couldn't drag myself to pull that stuff back out. But now at the new house, where I have an actual office where I have my gaming PC, my work PC, and all sorts of room for activities and places to store stuff nearby, I was putting this stuff away, and I saw my flight stick, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna set it back up. I haven't played Flight Simulator in a while. They released a bunch of patches. They released a bunch of free DLC for different regions of the world, and I went through the process of updating all of that, and I started playing it again, and I was having a really good time. Now, flying an airplane is, if you're relying on the autopilot and the things in the game, it could be a pretty boring thing, right? You get up in the air, you hit a button, and then you hit another button, and then you land. But see, here's where
you couldn't leave well enough alone.
Here's where these games get me, though, Paul. Here's where these games get me. My particular kink is that there's way more to Flight Simulator than that. There is a very deep, very realized flight model and avionics component of this game. And once I started sort of poking around and watching YouTube videos, they got me. They fucking got me. Okay. So just to put this in perspective, right? If you fire up Flight Simulator, I can go in there and I could click on a dot on the map and say, take off here. And I click on another map dot and say, land here. It draws a line between the two that kind of gives you a general sense of direction where that is. You start on the runway, you throttle up, you take off, and you just kind of keep your airplane on the course, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you take your mouse and you hold down the right mouse button and you start to pan around the cockpit a little bit, you can start clicking on stuff, and stuff works in the cockpit. Okay, some of it is just fiddly, fiddly in the best kind of way, adjusting the brightness of the controls on your not real airplane. Right? Or turning on the cabin lights, or making the seatbelt noise, right? Yeah. There's all that stuff. But here's the thing. These different aircraft have different avionics suites. And some of the very easy to fly for beginners Cessnas have these Garmin G1000 navigation units. And what those enable you to do is engage different modes of autopilot. So I had, sort of futzed around and tried to make autopilot work in that game, but I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos about how to do autopilot in Flight Simulator. So I went, I watched a series of videos, and what it comes down to is you sort of have to take off, or before you take off, sort of set everything into the autopilot that you want. And there's different autopilot settings. There's GPS, there's VOR navigation, and ILS navigation. Okay, and those go from order of easiest to hardest to sort of master. And GPS is the easiest because it's exactly like using GPS in your car. I need to go to this point, and the little GPS thing in your airplane basically shows you which way you need to fly. Like it's pretty dead easy. Okay. But if you want your airplane to like automatically turn and hold the heading and the altitude, there's things you have to set in this simulator by clicking on buttons on this like head unit, for lack of a better term, to like set everything. And I can't even begin to tell you, like, that's my kink. Like, it scratches this huge itch for me to be able to like go in there, set all this stuff up, take off, and let the airplane do its thing because I knew how to set it. And it's cool. Like, I really like that. And what I also come to find out is in these sort of beginner aircraft, you know, the autopilot can also control your altitude, but you sort of have to like, it's not like you just turn a knob and say fly to 10,000 feet and the plane does it. Like, you have to tell it like how fast you want to ascend and like, you know, if you want to hold your altitude or hold your yaw or all this other stuff or hold your heading, like there's all sorts of different modes. The problem that I was running into, and the reason I made this investment was, it's really hard to do that and keep flying the airplane straight because you can't, at least for me with my old eyes, I can't look at these small little buttons on my screen and still fly the airplane.
Okay.
So Logitech makes this thing. I put a link in the show notes called the Professional Simulation Autopilot Controller Panel. And what this is this is a panel. It is USB powered like the rest of my plastic crap that basically gives you all of your autopilot settings on a panel. Okay? So like if you're looking at this thing, just to give you a quick description here. So like on the left-hand side, there's a knob that controls the different parts of the autopilot. Settings for course, heading, indicated airspeed, if you have a throttle control, your vertical speed if you want to use autopilot to adjust your altitude, and then your desired altitude setting. There's also like a little LCD or LED. What is that? That's LCD. It's an LCD display.
Yeah, it's a like segmented LCD display. Yeah.
Yeah, like what you would see like on an old alarm clock. And that shows you, depending on what you have selected on the left, it sort of shows you like the different settings you can adjust. And there's a huge knob. It is not plastic. It is metal, I'm happy to say, that you use to sort of dial these things in.
How's the knob feel?
Pretty nice.
Okay.
Pretty nice. It spins really good. And then the other nice thing that this thing has that makes it much easier to control over using the keyboard for these things is there's a flaps controller, which you normally have to reach for your keyboard to do that if you don't have that set on your yoke. And then pitch trim. So if you want to manually pitch the aircraft, you have a little dial you can spin to sort of do that. And then there's buttons underneath of the LED display for turning on and off the autopilot and engaging the different autopilot modes. So it is very nice because the way this thing is designed to work, like this is part of a modular system that Logitech makes. So this literally screws into the top of my flight yoke. So there are like screw holes that you can use. Okay. So it sort of holds it in place, right? So it's very sturdy, and like you can flip these knobs and hit these buttons, and like, you know, you're not going to make this thing fly off anything. Right? So the reason I bought this is I was doing a lot of autopilot stuff. Like I was setting courses and destinations with GPS headings, and I was flying around, and I wanted something to make this easier. And I bought this thing, and it's great. Like it does exactly what the buttons I was pressing in the simulator do. It just gives me an easier way to do it as I'm sort of flying along. Now, just to show you how deep this rabbit hole kind of goes. So I've sort of graduated from GPS navigation. I taught myself how to do VOR navigation. And that is just basically navigating without GPS and using radio signals. And again, this is all simulated in the engine because there are VOR stations all over the world, and you basically have to like line yourself up with them and use the signal from one to know which way you're coming from versus the signal to the one you're going to. And you can actually plan VOR flights online and then import the plans into Flight Simulator. And some of the aircraft actually let you like program in the flight plans with the little LCD displays in game. Oh, buddy, it's a thing, man. It's a thing.
I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun to kind of learn how all these systems work. The ultimate is ILS approach stuff, where like the instruments literally like fly your aircraft all the way into like the runway. I started watching some YouTube videos about that, but like in order to do that, like you literally have to have like stuff on an iPad that tells you like what frequency to turn to, and like and like you have these things called approach plates that tell you like where you should be at any given time, because the idea of ILS is you can fly the airplane without looking out the window. So like if it's like foggy or whatever, like it's like literally like using instrumentation to land. It's really cool. And it's something that like if you're an amateur pilot, you could get qualified on. But I'm trying to master VOR navigation first. And then once I sort of figure that out, I'll start to learn the ILS stuff. But I need to move into aircraft that are more complicated before that makes sense. Because I'm just in these little rinky-dink aircraft right now, and it doesn't make sense to try to do that. So anyway, that's why I bought it. It's pretty fun. They make other panels too. Again, we sort of touched on this before, but just to kind of recap it, right? Like they make other things where there's like different switches. If you want to put down your landing gear, or if you want to be able to start or stop your aircraft without using that. And I don't necessarily like that one. I'm a little less concerned about, because I don't really need that one. I want it, don't get me wrong, but I don't need it. They also make the little flight LCD panels, which are these little cubes that you can sort of stack together and use it to display different information, so you don't have to look at the simulator.
Yeah, these little $170 cubes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if I was gonna buy another one, I'm not saying I'm gonna. If I was gonna buy another one,
what does Daddy want?
Daddy wants the radio controller next.
Okay, explain this to me.
Okay, so I was just talking about VOR navigation. Okay, so VOR navigation and air traffic control rely on different UHF and VHF frequencies. This little boy here is what you can use to set the frequencies for navigation. So the idea is that you can, instead of fiddling with the knobs in the simulator with your mouse, you could fiddle these knobs to tune into your VORs with this, and you could basically pre-program your route in this thing, and then as you pass the various radio beacons, you can flip them around and just do it with this as opposed to doing it in the simulator. So you could set your nav. So if you look at this thing, there's dials for each bank of numbers, where you have active and standby, COM 1 and COM 2 for like air traffic control, weather, approach, ground, whatever you're talking to. And then you have nav beacons, which back when we were doing HASP, remember how we like tracked the balloon?
I do remember. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like these are basically radio stations that broadcast a signal, and you kind of ride the radio beam between the navigation points. So you can use this to dial into those frequencies. It's incredibly nerdy.
I was going to say, and this is.
I'm sorry that
fun.
I'm sorry that
is this
I'm really
fun?
I'm really trying to save enough pussy for everybody, but I don't.
I mean, I don't get this at all.
I know.
To me, this feels like turning Excel into a video game. Like,
no, if you want Excel the video game, I can hook you up. No. It's I don't know. Like I said, it is definitely my sort of thing. Now I hate to alarm you, but I want this.
Okay. Oh no. Hold on.
Now you can make fun of me.
Okay. So, I've known almost as long as I've known you that you like trains.
I like trains a lot.
You've always
I like trains a lot.
You will watch videos of train on YouTube. You play train simulator. Things like that. What Drew just sent me is the Rail Driver USB desktop train cab controller with Train Sim 2001 update. It is
Actually, on that link I sent you, there's one that's $20 cheaper that doesn't have the game. But anyway.
Okay. All right. Because of course you already have the game. Why would you need the game again?
Right.
This is this is a train controller.
Yep, it simulates the controls you would find in a modern locomotive. Yes.
What are all the buttons? So there's like, I don't know, like 4 big knobs, one little one, the little LCD display.
All right. You ready?
Switches,
You ready?
And then there's a whole bunch of buttons at the bottom. What are the buttons?
You ready? Okay,
I guess
here we go.
I need to...
Here we go. I'm going to explain it to you. Okay.
Okay.
Because you don't know, because you don't live in my head. So what this is all these different knobs are used to control different aspects of the train. So the 4 big knobs on these things are the most important things. On the left hand side.
So stupid Paul.
Yeah.
Train go forward, train go backward.
No, it doesn't work that way. So
there's no
knob,
steering.
Okay, just shut up a second. So the knob on the left is your reverser, and that controls the direction of travel for the train. So
train go forward, train go backward.
There's also a neutral. Just be nice. There's also a neutral.
Train go nowhere. Got it.
Right. So you basically controlling the direction of travel.
Okay.
And then you have your throttle after that. So if you want to make the train go, if you want to make the engine go or not, right?
Train go fast, train go slow.
Yep.
Got it.
And then you have 2 brake controllers. You have auto brake and independent brake to the right of that. So the first quadrant is for direction and throttle, and then the next one is for the different brake systems. Now, if I'm playing Train Simulator as I want to do, I usually do this with the keyboard. There are buttons to sort of simulate the analog nature of these controls.
Oh, there's a bell button.
You can make the bell go. You can make the horn go.
Ding.
Yeah. You can make the horn go.
Now it sits on top this absolute buffet of little blue buttons. Are those more gamey buttons?
Yeah, like those are more gamey buttons. Like it looks like if I'm reading this correctly, there are buttons for changing to external views or free cameras. Looks like there's a lot of camera controls on this. It's annoying to me that there's a quit button because I could see myself hitting that. Probably.
Yeah, there's a quit button.
It's a quit button. The one on there that I think is probably most important is probably the 2D map, because a lot of these train simulator games, one of the particular kinks about this is you have to, if you're doing switcher duty, you sort of have to like drive your train and then go to the map and like adjust the switches and get yourself on the right track and everything. So that one is probably kind of important. There's also a load and unload button, which again, if you're driving a passenger train, there's buttons for opening the doors. The rest of these I think I could live without.
Now, I don't know if Amazon is proudly presenting customers who viewed this also viewed. But it is showing me. I'm going to put this link in the. It's the same style of thing, but for tractors. So it is the Logitech G Farm Sim vehicle side panel.
Are we that surprised?
I'm not.
Oh wow!
But I am a little bit. I'm a little surprised.
Oh wow! Look at this. Hold on, I gotta send you this.
Okay.
Wow, this is pretty cool. I wish I would have known about this. You can't even buy this thing. This is another flight sim controller.
Okay.
This one though is made by Honeycomb, and it is some kind of throttle quadrant with autopilot annunciator panel. So it basically has everything that my other panel has, plus a throttle quadrant. And it has a pitch wheel. Yep. But it doesn't look like it has the LED display for the numbers. Which I guess I don't know if I really need that or not, but that's damn cool. I like the throttle controls for it because I would need something like that for some of the bigger aircraft. You can't even buy that though. Where could I buy this? Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant. Let's just go to Google. Yeah, you got me. How much is it? Only $250. Sold out. But it has multiple throttle, multiple props, multiple everything. Flaps controller. Damn, that's damn cool. That's damn cool. I like that. I don't know where I would even put something that big, but wow, that's pretty cool. Anyway, sorry. A little off target there. But yeah, I do want to get the train sim one just because I think it'd be cool. I will never buy it. I will never buy that. I promise you I'll never buy that.
Are you sure?
Yep, I'm sure. Well, just because the thing about those train ones, like I don't know, they just look really chintzy. I mean, like this flight sim stuff that I have is actually it's a lot of plastic with a little bit of metal, but it feels pretty sturdy. It's not going anywhere. I think these look really chintzy. I don't know. I don't feel like they would hold up very well.
Got it.
I don't know.
It's got 176 reviews.
It does. There's 176 other weirdos out there
with 4.5 stars. Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah, let's read some of the reviews. I'm genuinely curious.
Likes it, but support is hard to get. I can believe that because who wants to admit they work at a company that makes train joysticks? A lot of good reviews.
They are good reviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see here. Like the 5 stars.
Switches
right?
and buttons are good quality, it says.
United States, United States, United States, United States, United States. A lot of these reviews are... Oh, there's actually one from 2021 here.
Oh, yeah, they are kind of older, aren't they?
Was a gift and he loves it, from Frank Mahoney.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank. A lot of these are pretty old.
I mean...
Not a bad deal. My husband is having fun with this. Only problems is it works only for certain games. He has to order a new game to play it, but it does work great. Well, I have all these games. Doesn't apply to me.
Of course you do.
Of course I do, as one does. Looking for some more recent ones. Choo Choo Charlie was an engineer. That's what that review says. It's great for running trains. Thanks, Thomas. Exactly what my son womped. Exactly what my son WAMT. Exactly what my son womped. Womped. Exactly what my son womped. What else we got here? I'm kind of rolling through these. A lot of these are like from 2014. This must have been a really hot item in 2015 because like almost all these reviews are from 2015. Whoa. An in-depth review on this product.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Received this for Christmas, and it is fantastic. The controller is set up like the desktop style of controls found in modern locomotives, but it works just as well with steam locomotives if your simulator has such engines. The control levers have a sturdy shaft and operate with a smooth and solid feel to them. Knobs on the levers are a good size, and each has a unique shape so you can tell by touch what you are operating. Buttons are solid and have a good return after pressing them. The horn toggle, the little black switch next to the leftmost lever, is said to be a bit flimsy by some users, but I find it to be a fairly solid considering its movement features. The speedometer is well lit with numbers about a quarter-inch high, readable at arm's distance even with bifocals. That one hit different, as is the labels on the buttons and the blue function keys. Weight is a little bit heavy. Interesting. I would have thought otherwise. But able to be picked up with one hand while sitting in the recliner. I'm the original lazy boy, in parentheses. Weight is because of the solid construction and the built-in subwoofer. Excuse me. Weight is because of the solid construction and the built-in subwoofer, which gives the rumble effect when operating.
Well, I'll be damned.
Excuse me?
I could just see this guy sitting in his leather lazy boy.
Good for him.
Like a Bud Light on the coaster right beside him, playing Train Simulator on his big ass TV with 7.1 sound, just living his best life.
It fits on my 23-inch width and 12-inch depth laptop desk with a 15-wide laptop next to it. As with any modern computer device, you will have to deal with connection cords, but 2 are not necessary if you don't want to operate the subwoofer. After you download the drivers for the particular simulator you are playing, the software must be running to operate the game. The drivers for that simulator will recognize the available locomotives and allow operation. Calibrate the controls to the simulator you are playing and just once and enjoy. Periodic recalibration is needed if your game or the controller drivers are updated. If you run Train Simulator from Dovetail Games, which I do, the blue function keys are reprogrammable for your needs. Support from the company is good, as I had technical issues getting the subwoofer to work with my laptop. I am mechanically inclined, and I know junk from good, and this product is solid with good customer support. You actually get what you pay for. You know what? Amazon customer? I'm going to call him Chuck.
Did you find that review helpful?
I found that review helpful. Yeah. I've got to go ahead and click that button. And mash that bell. Great controller. Man, I could go on. Now see, I'm starting to want this.
I'm waiting for how there's only one left in stock. Order soon, it says.
No, I can't.
Order soon.
I can't, Paul. I can't. I might need a new garage door opener. I can't do this right now. Can't do this right now. All right, get us out of here before I make another bad decision.
Yeah. This is the podcast you're listening to. I'm sure they're doing their best. We're online at doingtheirbest.com and on Twitter at doingbestpod. I'm on the Twitters at Paul Baylor. And where can we find you, Drew?
I'm on Twitter at Pittfurg, PATTFURG. Watch there for all streaming updates as I fly around in my airplanes with my plastic junk.
And soon, driving trains is plastic junk.
No, don't say that. No.